All right. What's up, everyone? I hope all is well and that you're doing all right. Um, and I just want to say happy early Thanksgiving. Um, so instead of just doing Bible study, because I know it can be just a little boring, but hey, look, it's good education that we all know about the Bible and about the Lord. But so I remember when I first started doing my podcast, I used to like ramble a lot about certain topics. So I thought maybe I should go back and, talk about certain topics. And if you look here, let me scroll down. Event details, let's go. All right. So we're going to be talking about witchcraft and secular music. So I was talking to Gumpa about witchcraft. Because I will make a very huge confession. And some of you may know or may not know that I used to be basically a white witch, or just say I used to be a pagan.
Mm.
I was into like a whole bunch of like astrology, worshipped crystals. Um, I was like really, really deep into that.
Do that again. Whoever did that,
Uh, no, 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 no. Okay. Um,
yes, yes, yes.
but yeah, so basically, I was like into like all sorts of like evil stuff that I never once knew that was, bad. Because again, it was like a choice. It was definitely a choice. But though I didn't realize like I was living my life the wrong way. I was like, wow, this is a lot to take in because once I figured out that, witchcraft is evil, I'm gonna tell you something that I've talked to Kompa about. So, talking about paganism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna tell you what that is. Because I did my own research after, before I even became pagan. I don't know who that is, but if you can, please mute your mic. I'm sorry to, say it that way, but I'm not trying to be mean or rude about it. But paganism is a term used to describe religions that are not monotheistic, such as those that worship multiple gods, spirits, or natural forces. It is associated with idolatry and a departure from worshiping the one true God. The term pagan comes from the Latin word paganus, which means rural or rustic. Early Christians used the term in the 4th century to describe people in the Roman Empire who were not Christian or Jews. Jewish. The Bible references perverted religions in passages such as Deuteronomy 23, verse 17, Amos chapter 2, verse 7 and 8, and Isaiah 57, chapter 57, verse 7 and 8. So we're going to read that real quick. Now, though I never knew the evil of witchcraft, paganism, I was a lost and confused person that just honestly just didn't know anything about like the dangers, the evils of witchcraft and paganism. So we're gonna talk about what in specific are not good, that are evil and ungodly. But before we even do that, if you can, please share the room and favorite the room. Invite your friends, and please do enjoy. I don't know who's trying to kick Fox, but um, it's okay. Um, but yeah, so like astrology is evil, very demonic, because it's like the constellations and the stars are basically demons. If you didn't know that. Um, Give me 1 second. No calls for this event. Okay, here we go. Here we go. How to restart it? There we go. Did any? Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say like, who said that? Um, so when it comes to like witchcraft, yes, astrology is evil. Just like how you like look up into like the constellations, the stars, very demonic. Because if you're that kind of person that goes, ew, I hate Capricorns, they're just so aggressive, so annoying, so obnoxious, and you're just like, I despise Aquariuses. I despise like these sort of people for absolutely no good reason. No reason at all. It's kind of weird to me because like, and this is not me trying to be disrespectful or rude, but they kind of do sound like pick me people and wannabes a little bit. But again, that's just my opinion. You do not have to agree, and this is me not trying to sound rude about it. But like I said, I'm just saying, because like it's just mad weird at how like people just go, you know, I like Aquariuses because they're cool, they're sweet, they're independent. Like, if honestly, the way that I see people, I think about for what's in the heart and their personality and not just like their astrological signs. Because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's weird too, just to say that. Um, but witchcraft, though, I'll tell you this now. I despise any symbolism, like pentagrams, pentacles. It does not matter. Either if one of them is good, it doesn't matter because it's still you worshiping, looking into something that you like, that you are most likely interested in, that still worship other multiple gods
Yes.
like Apollo, Artemis. Those are only fictional gods and goddesses, especially deities. It may be cool for you to like learn and look into, but I wouldn't worship them. Like you can still like somewhat look into it, but that shouldn't mean for you to like be like, oh, that's so cool. Maybe I should worship Aphrodite, call upon her, and send her my offerings. That's not okay. That's definitely not okay. That's another big red flag. Like, I get it. They may have cool abilities. They may have, like, they may have something that we don't have, but that shouldn't mean for you to go asking them, hey, can you give me this? Can you give me that? Or can I be more like you? Like, again, this is me trying to educate you for those who are interested to draw closer to God and to drop these things. Like, again, this is your choice. This is not me trying to force you. There's a difference between force and helping and educating those who want to, step away from those things. And again, not being rude or a bumhead or even trying to like convince you like you should go to God and repent. Again, it's your choice. We all have a free will, and you can do absolutely whatever you want, as you please. But if you're one of those people like, oh, you're wrong, but I can show you proof, but don't show that proof, and you're like just trying to convince me like, you know, you're wrong because of this, because of that. That's not showing the proof. That's you telling me um, on your opinions on what you think is, right. Because I rather see visual proof rather than just telling it, you know? Like I said, huge difference. Um, but we're gonna read. Ow, ow, I'm sorry, my back is like killing me. We're gonna read into Deuteronomy 23, verse 17. No, 17. Yeah, 17. Let me go on here, and I'm doing this as I invite people. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Where are you? Okay, here we go. 23. So I'm gonna read the entire thing. What's up, Richie? You doing okay? So it says, people who cannot join a worship. A man with a crushed testicle or part of his sex organ cut off may not join with with the men of Israel to worship the Lord. If a man's parents were not legally married, that man may not join with the men of Israel to worship the Lord. Um, and none of his descendants to the 10th generation may join in that group. An Edomite or Moabite may not join with the men of Israel when they gather to worship the Lord. And none of their descendants to the 10th generation may join in the worship of the Lord. The Ammonites and Moabites refused to give you bread and water on your trip at the time you came from Egypt. Again, this is Deuteronomy 23, verse 17. What's up, Richie? I don't know if you can hear me still. I don't know what's going on. Because the last time you said, hi, sweet things, I said, yo, what's up? How are you? I didn't get a response. You may have to restart your YouTube app, wherever you're watching this live from.
What's up,
But
Mavis?
hmm,
Max is back.
welcome back. But yeah, the Ammonites and Moabites refused to give you bread and water on your trip at the time you came from Egypt. They also tried to hire Balaam, the son of Beor, from the Mesopotamian city of Bether to curse you. But the Lord your God refused to do what Balaam asked. Instead, the Lord changed the curse into a blessing for you, because the Lord your God loves you. You must never try to make peace with the Ammonites or Moabites as long as you live. Don't be friendly to them. People the Israelites must accept. You must not hate Edomites because they are your relatives. You must not hate Egyptians because you are a stranger in their land. The children of the third generation born to the Edomites and Egyptians may join with with the people of Israel to worship the Lord. Keeping the army camp clean. When your army goes to fight against your enemies, stay away from everything that would make you unclean. If there is any man who is unclean because he had a flow of semen during the night, I know, disgusting to hear, but these are the cold, hard facts. But as I was saying, if there is any man who is unclean because he had a flow of semen during the night, he must go out of the camp. He must stay away from the camp. Then, when evening comes, the man must bathe himself in water. And when the sun goes down, he may come into the camp again. You also must have a place outside the camp where people can go to relieve themselves. Among your weapons, you must also carry a stick to dig with. Then, when you relieve yourself, you must dig a hole and cover it up. This is because the Lord your God is there with you in your camp to save you and to help you defeat your enemies. So the camp must be holy. Then he will not see something disgusting and leave you. Other laws. If slaves run away and come to you, don't force them to go back to their masters. Runaway slaves may live with you wherever they like in whatever city they choose. You must not trouble them. An Israelite man or woman must never become a temple prostitute. The money earned by a prostitute, either a male or female, must not be brought to the special house of the Lord your God. That money cannot be used to pay for a gift that was promised to the Lord your God, because that kind of sin is disgusting to him. When you loan something to another Israelite, you must not charge interest. Don't charge interest on money, on food, or on anything that may earn interest. You may charge interest for a foreigner, but you must not charge interest to another Israelite. If you follow these rules, the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do in the land where you are going to live. When you make a promise to the Lord your God, don't be slow to pay everything you promised. The Lord your God will demand that you pay it. You will sin if you don't pay what you promised. You are not sinning, but you must do what you say you will do. If you choose to make a promise to the Lord your God, you must do what you promised. When you go through another person's vineyard, you may eat as many grapes as you want, but you cannot put any of the grapes in your basket. When you go through another person's field of grain, you may eat all the grain you can pick with your hands, but you cannot use a sickle to cut that person's grain and take it with you. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, and what we just read, um, in simple terms, that should tell you that it was basically saying a number of laws and instructions, including exclusion from the assembly of the Lord, because certain people were not allowed to attend the assembly of the Lord, including those with deformities, injuries, and certain ancestries. For example, men with cut or crushed genitals, those born from forbidden unions, and Ammonites and Moabites were not allowed. Keeping the war camp clean. When the Israelites went to war, they were to keep the camp clean and free of uncleanliness. Sanitation laws. There were laws about how to deal with the human waste. Reception of the foreign slaves. There were instructions on how to receive foreign slaves into the land. The removal of litigious people. There were instructions on how to remove litigious people from the land. Duties of cities. Oh my freaking goodness! I cannot speak for nothing. I am so sorry. But it was to like instruct on certain duties of cities citizens. I think I'm losing it today. My mind's telling me no. My body. Goodness gracious. But restrictions on eating on a neighbor's crops. There were restrictions on eating on neighbor's crops. So, for some of the themes in Deuteronomy 23 include the importance of keeping away from evil, the importance of hygiene, your personal hygiene, and to make sure that you are clean, the importance of reverence for the divine majesty, and the importance of regard for one another. Okay. And then Amos 2, verse 7 and 8. Where are you? My mind's telling me no. My body's telling me yes. Alright. Okay. So it says punishment for Israel. Push, baby. This is what the Lord says. I will definitely punish Israel for the many crimes they have done. Excuse me. They sold honest people for a little silver. They sold the poor for the price of a pair of sandals. Which is kind of weird. But it's good education though. They pushed their faces into the ground and walked on them. They stopped listening to suffering people. Fathers and sons had sexual relations with the same woman. They ruined my holy name. The more you read into the Bible, it's like mind blowing. Like it's weird, but it's so cool at the same time because like if I'm honest with you, I'm not no bookworm. I don't read books. I hate English. I mean, as for me, like I can't speak proper English, and it sounds like I'm speaking like a whole another language from planet Jupiter or some crap like that. Like, like I don't even have the time. Um. Oh wait, there's one more in Amos. Almost forgot to read. But they took clothes from the poor and then they set on those clothes while worshipping at their altars. They loaned money to the poor and then they took their clothes as a promise for payment. So basically, to read Deuteronomy 24, 12, and 13 for the rules about making loans to the poor. But we're going to focus on not only witchcraft, but also paganism as well, because I was like really, really drawn to that stuff. Okay, they made people they made people pay fines and use the money to buy wine for themselves to drink in the temple of their god. Okay, and the last one, Isaiah 57, almost a chapter, verses 7 and 8. And again, this is the ERV, aka easy to read version, because it's a better translation to like understand and to get a clear understanding on what I'm reading. Giggity giggity. Okay, 57. 7 and 8. Alright. Actually, I'm gonna read that entire thing so for y'all to like, get a clear understanding when I'm reading. So that y'all can like, understand. So Israel does not follow God. All the good people are gone and no one even noticed. The loyal followers were gathered up, but no one knows why. The reason they were gathered up is that trouble is coming. But peace will come too. And those who trust him will get to rest in their own beds. Okay. Come here, you children of witches. Your father committed adultery, and your mother was unfaithful. You are children out of control, full of lies. You make fun of me. You make faces and stick out your tongue at me. Meaning by making faces at me, this probably refers to the god Bel, which is usually shown making a face sticking out his tongue. All you want is to worship false gods. Under every green tree. You kill children by every stream and sacrifice them in the rocky places. You love to worship the smooth rocks in the rivers. You pour wine on them to worship them. You give sacrifices to them, but those rocks are all you get. Do you think this makes me happy? No. You make your bed on every hill and high mountain. Meaning that the people worship false gods in these places. The people thought these false gods would give them good crops and more children. That's tough. You go up to those places and offer sacrifices. You hide the things that help you remember me behind the doors and door frames. Meaning that the Israelites were supposed to put special things on their door frames to help them remember God. See Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 9. You were with me, but you got up to go to them. You spread out your bed and gave yourself to them. You love their beds and you enjoy looking at their naked bodies, which is, again, disgusting. Naked bodies, this is a wordplay. The Hebrew word also means memorial in Isaiah 56, verse 5. You use your oils and perfumes to look nice for Molech. You send your messages to faraway lands, and this will bring you down to the place of death. Meaning, or you even send them down to Sheol. All of them made you tired. But you never gave up. You found new strength because you enjoyed them. You did not remember me. You did not even notice me. So who were you worrying about? Who were you afraid of? Why did you lie? Look, I have been quiet for a long time. Is that why you didn't honor me? I can tell about your good works and all the religious things you do, but that will not help you when you cry. When you need help, you cry to those false gods that you gathered around you. Let them help you. But I tell you, the wind will blow them all away. A puff of wind will blow them all away. But the one who depends on me will get the land I promised and enjoy my holy mountain. Meaning that Mount Zion was one of the mountains Jerusalem was built on. The Lord will save his people. Clear the road, make the way clear for my people. God is high and lifted up. He lives forever. His name is holy. He says, I live in a high and holy place, but I also live with people who are humble and sorry for their sins. I will give new life to those who are humble in spirit. I will give new life to those who are sorry for their sins. I will not accuse my people forever. I will not always be angry. If I continue to show my anger, then the human spirit, the life I gave them, would die for me. Would die before me. Israel's evil greed made me angry, so I punished them. I turned away from them because I was angry. But they continued to do wrong. They did whatever they wanted. I have seen their way of life, but I will heal them. I will guide and comfort them and those who mourn for them. I will teach them a new word, peace. I will give peace to those who are near and to those who are far away. I will heal them. The Lord himself said this, but evil people are like the angry ocean. They cannot be quiet and peaceful. They are angry and like the ocean, they stir up mud. My God says there is no peace for evil people. And so, the Bible suggests that pagan religions are ultimately false and inspired by false spirits. The prophets in the Bible consistently pointed out the emptiness of idols and the fullness of God.